So hello everybody, good afternoon. I am Dr. Varsha. So thanks for joining small session today to know about so many COVID facts. In fact, each one of us who's coming to the clinic or do an online consultation want to know about COVID. So I thought why not we do a session on COVID and where people can ask their doubts. First, I would like to share whatever I want to share with parents about COVID. And so I think I will be able to cover most of the queries which I normally receive from parents on day-to-day basis. So I will try to cover all these queries in my very short presentation. So now, first, let us look at how this COVID-19 virus spread. So there are many ways which the COVID-19 virus can spread from one person to another person. One is the air droplet, which is the most commonest way of getting the disease. In this, there are micro droplets which are generated by a person while the person is speaking, laughing, crying. It's not only during sneezing and coughing, but even while speaking, there are micro droplets of our saliva going in the atmosphere. This can fall on the other person. If you come in contact with the patient of COVID, this can fall on us and then the infection gets transmitted very easily. In fact, the contact time for this is just 5 minutes. If 5 minutes you speak to the person who is carrying the COVID virus in his nasopharynx, you can get the COVID infection. That's why the infection is spreading very fast. So this is one mode. Next mode is the rebreathing of the air droplets. Now these droplets of COVID virus remain suspended in the air for 30 minutes. So if you breathe the same air, then you are also going to get the COVID infections. Now these infections are more common in closed spaces. So we should avoid air conditioning spaces. In fact, a good ventilation in the room will decrease the number of air droplets of containing the COVID virus in the air and then prevent the infections. Now, close contact with the patient with COVID. So if you are in very close contact, then apart from respiratory droplets, we can get infection by handshaking, touching, kissing. So all this can spread the infection. Fomites. Now, fomites are used clothes, utensils, tissues of a person having COVID can also cause infection to other person. Now, do the touching the surfaces. Now, we have to understand that this COVID virus is a very peculiar virus. Most of the viruses, when they fall on non-living substances, they usually die. So the infections usually spreads from one person to another person. But in this COVID, the virus remains alive on non-living surfaces for even some days. There are reports about some days of this COVID virus lying there. So this can spread to surfaces also. But this mode of infection is less compared to the other four. So but we should be careful about this type of infection also. The next we will discuss about the symptoms in children. Now, COVID, as most of the people know that COVID can cause cough, cold, respiratory, coughing, and low oxygen levels. But it is that not only that COVID can cause respiratory infection, it can involve many organs in the body. This can be from respiratory tract to nerves, to gut, to heart, to kidney, the immune system, or it can be a multi-system infection also. So the infection symptoms can be mostly, many cases, it will be asymptomatic infections in which the person is carrying the COVID virus, but there are no symptoms. There can be mild illnesses like cough, cold, sore throat, diarrhea, abdominal pain. This can be with fever or even without fever. Some of the cases will have moderate illness in which there will be high fever, severe cough, then lung involvement causing pneumonia, wheezing. Then very few will have more severe illness in which the oxygen will get low. It can be below 92%. In such cases, the lung involvement is much more. Then some of the cases may go up to critical illness where it can be a severe shock, multi-organ dysfunction, heart and circulatory system involved. And there is something known as a COVID-19 associated hyperinflammatory syndrome, which is which is very peculiar in children. Adults usually are not getting it. And this, the child will have a multi-system organ dysfunction, and child may go into shock and may have a lot of rashes all over the body. So now this virus can cause chronic problems in children. So this effects on lung, heart, and even kidney damage may continue for 3 to 6 months. And in fact, many cases of diabetes has been reported. So this COVID virus is going to stimulate some autoimmune reaction in the body and is causing some autoimmune diseases like diabetes. Now we come to the COVID-19 test. The COVID-19 test, there is a lot of misconception about the COVID-19 test, and people do talk about false positive, false negative, and whether it's really the test is working or not. So I want to discuss about the COVID-19 test. So there are two types of tests. This is the swab test and an antibody detection test. The swab test can be of two types, which is the rapid test and COVID-19 RT-PCR test. Now, rapid test, what it does, it detects only the coronavirus particles in the nose or the mouth of the person. It do not detect whether the person is having infection or not. So, if the rapid test comes out to be positive, that means that there is coronavirus particles which are there in the nose or the throat. The person may not be infected. So, if the rapid test is positive, then you have to reconfirm it with a COVID-19 RT-PCR test. Now, if the rapid test is negative, still the person may have COVID. So what you have to do, if the person is having symptoms, then still we have to go for a COVID-19 RT-PCR test. Now, if the person is COVID-19 RT-PCR test. Let me talk about this COVID-19 RT-PCR test. This is the gold standard for testing COVID-19 patients. But you have to understand, even this test is positive in a corona patient in 80% of cases. 20% of cases having COVID may have a COVID-19 negative. It may become positive later on in the infection. So, if the person is having COVID-19 and your RT-PCR gold standard is positive, then you are sure that you are having a COVID infection. Now, there's if some of the member in the family is COVID positive. Now, we should not hurry about other members who have come in contact with that patient for doing this COVID-19 test. Why? Because initially this test will be negative. So you will be having, okay, we are negative, but then later on it may turn out to be positive. So it's always better to wait for 4 to 5 days and then do that COVID-19 RT-PCR test. So likelihood of getting the test positive at that time is much higher. But if the contact is having symptoms, a milder symptoms also, then better you can do the test immediately. So if there is a COVID patient in the house, it's better to isolate initially rather than doing the test. Test can be done after 4 to 5 days. If the patient is symptomatic, then do it immediately. Now this antibody detection test. Antibody detection test is only for the community level. So it only detects the seroprevalence in the community. How much is the, as you know about the herd immunity. So how much the people are getting infected. Now, I'll just cover some interesting facts about COVID-19 in children. See, the most children will have a very mild symptoms. There is two vulnerable age groups. One is infants. Infants is less than 1 year, and the teenagers. They are more likely to get infections. The children are usually not the first case in the house because they are not going outside that much. So they usually contact it from their parents. But the children can be a source of carrier to the grandparents. Another thing you should note that if the parents are positive for COVID, then what happens? We have to isolate. So the child is small. So never send the child to the grandparents because the child may be initially negative, later turn out to be positive. or the test may come out false negative, then there is very likelihood the child may carry the infection to the grandparents, and it can be very dangerous for the grandparents. Instead, better with social distancing and following certain protocols, keep the child with the parent unless the parent is very serious, or you have another source who is an adult and can take care of the child. So fever may not be present in children. In fact, body pain, tiredness, severe lethargy, these are more suggestive symptoms of COVID apart from cough, cold, vomiting, and everything. So along with any of these, if there is severe pain and the child is constantly lying down without any reason, then you may think about whether the child is having COVID. We have to also protect our high risk group children. So what are the high risk group children? Any child who is having some chronic illness like diabetes, thyroid issues, asthma, wheezing, premature or low birth weight children. Obesity is also a major risk factor for COVID, or the child who is on some regular medicines. So these are the high risk children. Now, a big question about how to keep ourselves healthy and our children healthy during this pandemic. Now, we should all understand that pandemic is not a thing that we see, we have seen earlier, or we have seen. So it's a lifetime thing that you have come into. It comes in maybe 100 years or more than 100 years. So we will require some extra effort, and we have to go an extra mile to conquer this COVID now. So the main protocol for helping you prevent COVID infection is the SMS, where S stands for social distancing, M for mask, and S for sanitization. Now, social distances is like keeping a 6-foot distance from the other person. This will help preventing the air droplets falling on yourself. And there should be no physical contact with outside people like hugging, kissing, and we can avoid closed spaces. That also helps in social distancing. Then mask. The mask can be any mask. You can use a cloth mask or a surgical mask. N95 mask is not required for general population unless there is a COVID patient in the house. Then we can use, if you are speaking to that person, then better use N95. Otherwise, N95 is not required. But the mask should be worn properly on the nose and the mouth. There is no use of a mask on a chin. So better you can remove that mask because it is causing no help to you while wearing on a chin. And there is no use of a mask that if you are wearing and when you start talking or laughing and playing or running, you start removing the mask. Then that mask also is of no use. The more mask is used when you are talking, speaking, running, playing. That time the mask should be there because the air droplets are more that time. Then sanitization. Now regarding sanitization, the gold standard is hand washing. Hand washing with soap and water, any kind of soap and water for 20 seconds properly. Hand washing techniques are all available on the net. You can see that is the mainstay for preventing COVID infection. Sanitizers should only be used if the conditions are not permissible for hand washing, like you're going out or somewhere where you can't hand wash immediately, then sanitizer can be used. But see that the sanitizer used is having 60 to 70% alcohol-based sanitizer. Avoid sharing. So no sharing of food, fomites, and mask, toys. It's better not to share with other person. It's good that we can teach our children cough and cold etiquettes. This sharing and teaching the children about cough and cold etiquettes will go a long way. When the school reopen, there will be a COVID rise that time. So we have to prepare our children and teach them this now itself. And it's always better to supervise the children when they're playing. We cannot like stop children from playing totally now because it's been so many months, but it's always supervise them when they are playing. Then medicine. There are many medicines, vitamin C, vitamin D, zinc, which have been told that they prevent infections. They can be taken for the children and for yourself, but it's always better to take this medicine under the prescription of the doctor. Because zinc and vitamin D especially, there can be overdose of these vitamins and that can be harmful. Gargling the mouth with betadine and hot water also helps in preventing COVID. So if it is an older child who is more than 5 years of age, can easily gargle their throat well. Try, ask them to gargle every day. Especially if they're gone out for play, they can come home and gargle with betadine gargle. Now, healthy lifestyle, it's the mainstay to prevent or to fight COVID, even if you get it. Eating healthy food. Inculcate good eating habits in children. Exercise. Now, with outdoor play having their own limitation, we have to encourage indoor activities. There are certain things which you can use like indoor activities like skipping a rope, or if your child is small, a tricycle in the home, playing small ball or something in the home, just busting the balloon, running here and there. So that is also of a type of activity which can be done in the room. Now, protect your child with overuse of internet. There are a lot of online classes going on. So child is already having overuse of internet. So we should curtail their online games and too much screen activity after that. Now, another option in this can be use of a smart TV for online classes. So it is better than using a laptop or a mobile or a tablet for the online classes. Connect the laptop with the smart TV. Let the child sit on a chair and table like in a school from a distance and watch the classes online. Can be a Bluetooth connector for the audio if it is less, but I think TV audio can be increased. So that is a better way of taking the online classes for children. Proper sleep is very important. The child should have a proper sleep time. We should have a sleep hygiene, which means getting up and sleeping at a particular time regularly and having a good sleep. Mental health. There has been a lot of mental health issues because of the COVID. Not only in adults, but in children also. So to prevent this, we should speak to our children more. The children are perplexed. They don't understand what is happening. They can't go to school. The play activity is limited. They have to wear masks. So we have to speak to the children, answer their queries, reward them with good behavior, watch their social media activity, and prevent cyberbullying because they can get addicted to all these things at this time. Help them develop their hobbies. Take time to play with them. Now at the end, we can look into some positive aspects of COVID-19. So we have got a lot of opportunity for more family time, and we should use this family times by spending good quality time with children. You can help develop hobbies in children, and not only children, adults can also use their times doing some hobbies. Yeah, the travel time of parents have decreased. There is all online offices which can be used for all this. There is a low pollution level in the air because of less of vehicular traffic. So there is low incidence of wheezing, asthma, and respiratory illnesses in children. There is low incidence of other infections also, tuberculosis, dengue, malaria, because people are not going outside. Schools are closed. There is good opportunity for children to learn responsibility. Ask them to help in your household chores. More time for parents, more time for their children they can spend, and become a role model for their children. So I would like to finish this webinar now, and with the hope that we will be able to control this. Already COVID is on a decline in Bangalore and in India as such. So I hope for the best that the COVID starts declining. And although we should be prepared for a second surge, especially when the school reopen. So main COVID test will be when the school and colleges reopen. So there we have to inculcate our children, be prepared for them, that when they come out, there the social distancing, the mask and the sanitizer have to be followed. And in small children, there is no mask, so social distance is becoming very important and sanitization become more important.